There we are. Okay, super. We are going live. The electrons are hooking up. And just want to see that the bar has gone all the way over. Make sure that we have arrived where we need to arrive, which is on the e-commerce business school. And I don't see me on that page yet, so I'm going to refresh. Just bear with me, folks. We're just those electrons. You got to love them, right, ladies? Yeah. We love electrons. They help us with our business. Oh, you know what? I still don't. Oh, we are live. Good. Thank you. Okay. Hey, greetings, everybody. Hope you all had a really amazing, happy Thanksgiving. So here we are together. I want to give you a very warm welcome to the Voice of E-commerce, which is the broadcasting arm of the E-commerce Business School. But this is really special. We are going to have, believe it or not, 17 interviews, all part of our EBS, E-commerce Business School, 4-day grand opening. And the purpose of the grand opening is to announce to the world what we're doing here at the E-commerce Business School. This is a place where we want to prove to the world that this is a real group of people you can see face to face, eyeball to eyeball here, and that we are a go-giving community that helps and supports people in their businesses. So even if you're here just to learn about e-commerce or you're wanting to advance your e-commerce business, you're in the right place. All right, we're in for a really special treat today because we have two students of the E-commerce Business School who not just were students, but have now since become certified trainers of the E-commerce Business School. And they have taught at workshops and have taught and coached extensively online with our members. And I'm just so proud of you two, because not only are you very successful in your e-commerce business, certified trainers and coaches, but the reason we have you here today is you came to a workshop, you met each other, and you became business partners. So what I want to start with is a just quick snapshot of your respective backgrounds, because people get real curious about, yeah, well, what did she do before e-commerce? So I'm going to start with you, Kay. Where do you live? What was your background before you came here to E-commerce Business School?
Okay, I live in Mount Airy, Maryland, and prior to joining the E-commerce Business School, I worked in the independent LDS book industry for over 20 years. Served on the board of directors, managed 4 bookstores, retired, and then needed something to do, so I looked into e-commerce, and that's where I'm at.
Well, we're really glad you're here. A lot of superpower and talent. How about Sarah? What did you do in your previous life, and what brought you here?
Yeah, well, I'm from Austin, Texas, and in my previous life, I was a software programmer to start with, and then I went to business school and got into the whole entrepreneurial world. I caught the bug and loved it, and started a few companies with my previous husband. We ran a bicycle manufacturing company. We actually made the world's fastest bicycle racing wheels out of carbon fiber.
Wow.
Had our own completely vertically integrated factory where we produced them and sold them online. And then I left him in the company, and I went on to start a farm, a family farm, and be a mom for quite some years, just focused on my children. And then when it was time to go back and get back into business, I really didn't know what direction I was going. I knew I wanted to do something on my own that was independent, and I still had that kind of comfort in the computer world. And I found Ann, and that was it. It was just a perfect fit.
All right, so you found Ann, meaning we'll get down to brass tacks. You came into which program? What was the thing that kicked you off, ladies?
Well, I saw what got my attention was the book flipping business. That was what really excited me. But at the time, you weren't offering a course in it. So I fell into Shop Your Way to Wealth, which was really even better, a better place to begin. It made more sense. It gave me all the basic foundations I need to then when I was ready to launch the book business. So I think I got lucky. Yeah. And I went down to Florida and I went to an in-person course, which was really special. It was a great way to just meet everybody and feel instantly a part of the community.
Now that must have been summer of 2015, having gone down to that workshop, because then we had Kay here. She did something really spectacular. She's a racer. She did the race to Minnesota, and you were busy with your phone all the way to Minnesota.
Yeah, I decided that. So we had a live event in Minnesota in September. I also came in, I also was part of your community prior to the e-commerce. And then when I talked to Kurt and he said, oh, I think you're going to really like Shop Your Way to Wealth. And so I kind of waited a little bit for that, and it launched on a Tuesday. The book wasn't ready. We got chapter 1. I had that done in 10 minutes, and I kept going, what's next? What's next? By Friday, I think there were some printing problems. I don't remember what happened, but I know by Saturday you released the book digitally so that we could get going. And by Monday, I was out shopping. I had read the book, was out shopping, and just took off from there. I didn't go to Florida, but I did do the Shop Your Way to Wealth workshop that was attached to the September event. I decided to drive it so that I could scan my way there and home. So my husband didn't want me driving by myself, so he drove with me. Then he flew home and then flew back and drove home with me. But coming home, we were running out of room in the car. And he still laughs because Brian texted and said, well, why don't you just put him on a bus so you can keep scanning? But anyway, so we did make it home. My husband's a really good packer.
Well, let me just say that you were posting on Facebook the entire trip, and I didn't know you then, but I just kept seeing this K and all these numbers, and by golly, you got my attention. I was like, I want to know what she's doing.
Yeah, and she has this hashtag, always.
Yep. Just keep
scanning. Just keep scanning. That's right. Just keep scanning. All right. So you two arrive at the event, and this is what I really want people to take from our time together here is we set up in an environment, a community, a culture such that I wanted to be very amenable for building business friendships and with the potential to do what I call joint ventures or potentially a business partnership. So I have heard, courtesy of the hotel we were at, that the hot tub is the place to be when it comes to building the friendships, getting to know each other. But in all seriousness, you came for training, but I don't know if you realize how powerful that networking aspect would be. But you're saying, Sarah, you noticed Kay, she's all busy, her numbers were huge. And so walk us through the relationship that began to build.
Oh, I don't know. Do we tell her the truth, Kay?
Well, we didn't actually connect at the event. We both, we kind of met, but it was...
I don't know. I wasn't interested. No.
It was interesting dynamic at the event, but what happened is we both upgraded to EMP at the event.
Oh,
and we were in the same accountability group, peer group.
Oh, okay.
And so it was really the peer group that she and I really started connecting and looking for joint venture opportunities, and it just exploded from that.
We made other friends while we were there. We just were not paying much attention to each other.
That's interesting.
It was that event that connected us because we both upgraded to EMP at that event.
Right.
And we both have the same mindset of getting the education and being able to move as fast as we, wanting all of the training available so that we could move fast. Once we got started in our accountability group, and we got drawn to each other when we were in a little more closer, intimate, and that the hot tubs came later because we both were in San Diego in January.
Okay. Yes.
And then we had both decided to.
It kind of brings up a point because, Kay and I are really quite different in a lot of ways. In the way
I would agree. Quite a bit different.
We are.
And that may have been part of the initial, we just didn't know what. I saw the attraction wasn't instantaneous. But what we discovered, we were incredibly compatible. Just through working together bit by bit, we learned in just such a nice way together. We really complemented each other.
So we had a synergy because a lot of the areas where I'm weak, Sarah's strong, and vice versa. So it makes a really good partnership. And we are actually in the process now of officially merging, we're looking into what we have to do.
Yeah.
We've been kind of running two different businesses, but we had some joint ventures.
Right.
And now we're like, you know what? This has been going on for 3 years now. Let's just make it. So we're actually looking into what it
Wow.
takes to merge our businesses into one entity.
Wow. Well, I can kind of speak to that actually a little bit. Not here, but I can provide advice. So, wow, that is so impressive. So, here the hot tub, I get it. I remember San
Yeah.
Diego. We do many workshops, as you two well know, and you went into the Upgrade of E-commerce Masters program, which is our high-level mentorship program. I don't know how it was also in your path and journey that you made the decision. Yeah, we're also going to become certified trainers. Was that a mutual decision for the two of
Yeah,
you?
we both talked about it and we said we want to do this. And so there was a lot of training involved then.
We supported each other a lot through that. That was quite
Yeah. Yeah, that way. Yeah, it really helped to have a partner do it. In fact, when we went to SCO in March, Sarah was a little behind on the trainings. And so it was in Philadelphia. So she flew from Austin to Baltimore, came and stayed at my house. And then from my house, we drove to Philly and we turned my hotspot on my phone and she fired up a computer and all the way there and back. I think, was that when you finished the
That's when I
training?
finished them. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
very
and
good.
so to make the April deadline so
Very
that we could
impressive.
both be certified as trainers at the same time. So that was our goal.
So what I want to mention to people, hold on, I apologize. There's been comments rolling in. Let's see. Hi there, Starla, and Debbie is here. Good morning to you. Welcome, everybody. All right, so let's talk about the value, or why even partner? Why didn't you just go, hey, I got my own thing. I'm good. Oh, you got your thing? Good. It's nice to know you. And hey, we'll share tips and strategies. But why partner together? Because I know a lot of people, it sounds attractive, but I'm just going to say it for what it is. A lot of times partnerships don't work out. But so why would you share assets, so to speak, and share profits? A lot of people think, oh, that's going to be less for me then, though. I don't know if that's going to work out. So why did you decide this would work, that you'd be better doing it together than apart?
We discovered we had a synergy when we worked together, and we were stepping into unknown areas. We were advancing our businesses, and it was really nice having a buddy to learn with. So, and by sharing assets too, you're sharing the risk. So while you're learning, you're in a learning curve, you're going to make mistakes. Sarah and I've made some doozies, actually. And so it doesn't hurt quite as bad when it's two people sharing them instead of just one. It does kind of spread it out a little bit. But it really helped us learn, and it helped us be more accountable. Sometimes, you get really motivated, but sometimes you get lazy and you just start, get tired, whatever. But when you know that someone else is depending on you to do something, you tend to help stay motivated. And then just normal life. Sometimes life gets you down, and it seems like when I'm down, Sarah can pull me up, and when Sarah's down, I can pull her up, and it just kind of keeps us going. And it's just been fun. It's been interesting because when Sarah actually came, her dad lives in Maryland. So she came to visit him, but she came a couple of days early with her family and stayed with us. So my husband got to meet her husband. And it's funny because they're very opposite in a lot of ways too, and yet they connected in ways. And so it was just kind of been fun.
That's awesome. How about you, Sarah? What made you feel like you'd be better together than apart?
I think also, Kay and I were really on a track. When we started, we wanted to start by running. We wanted to go as fast as we could.
Mm-hmm.
It really gave us a certain level of security, and also just, it makes it faster to absorb all that material, because inevitably you hear one thing and she hears another. And you put it all together, all the pieces together when you sit down and do it. And tools like Zoom, which we're on right now, are just make it virtual. We would sit in this room together. I had a Zoom room, and we would spend a whole day together. Just leave the room open, and we'd come in and out of the office and talk to each other about whatever piece of the puzzle we were working on.
Yeah,
it was great. It was just oh my gosh. I'm sure for whatever we lose in splitting the divvying things up, we make up in how much more we do. Our capacity to buy more, research more, be more organized. It's all it's all conducive. When you're working with somebody else, it improves your organization. It sort of forces you to be a little bit more.
Right. Well, and I would think, like you mentioned, the doozers, and we'll just say, let everyone know in advance, you're always going to hit doozers, meaning stuff happens. But what I think is probably really beneficial is now you can troubleshoot together. And I always like to say 2 cerebrums are better than 1. And, hooking up those cerebrums, because one gives a different perspective. And then to troubleshoot, the likelihood of resolving, figuring out that, it goes up not just twice, it goes up exponentially.
Yeah. There's a synergy.
You know what, Ann, Kay and I have been talking about, we'll throw this at you, but we really enjoy coaching together. We'll jump on each other's.
What's a bug in my ear that
yes, we really do enjoy the joint. And again, it always seems there's just a synergy that we bring together that's better than either one of us individually.
Very good.
And we've done CNA calls. We've done lots of CNA calls together.
Absolutely.
And Sarah coaches in the EE side, on the higher mentors. But lately, I've jumped on a few of those with her, and it's really been fun.
Wow, that's awesome.
To do that together. We do.
Yeah.
We enjoy it, and we do work well together. And I feel like it's more beneficial to the community because of the synergy that we bring together.
Yeah, that is awesome. That takes what Wallace Wattles calls an advancing personality, to realize that the pie can be bigger by working together rather than separately. So I want to make clear to everybody, we're throwing out all these acronyms and terms that are internal to the e-commerce business school. So the e-commerce master's program is our high-level mentorship group. And within there is the peer groups, which we are relaunching in December, which I'm really excited about, because that becomes that fertile ground, so to speak, of getting those peer groups established and working with a group of peers. And I firmly believe it's not a good proposition to be in business on your own in a vacuum. I personally can't even begin to fathom. It's a dangerous thought and proposition for the fact everything changes so quickly. One mind cannot keep up with the changes. And that's just part of the deal here. The changes in e-commerce, the changes, everything, it's always changing. So to be in a safe.
It's satisfying, Ann, that here you are in your office and, there's Kay in her kitchen and I'm over actually in Connecticut visiting my brother and on his porch. And we're virtually, we essentially could be having a peer group right now if we wanted, right? You just get on the computer and you're linked in with whomever is out there who has similar interests and can, be on the same path with you. It's pretty nice.
It's a wonderful mastermind opportunity to really accelerate your own learning and potentially, joint venture opportunities like Sarah and I started with.
We're going to give it a wrap with one last question that I want to ask you, because here you partnered. So I remember, when we trained at ASD Market Week, and you two were so focused. Okay, you had your printout and you were studying, and it was so impressive. And that's when I really took note. Wow, they're really doing it. They're partnered together on the products you're finding. I remember the one with the bean sprouts, I think, something like that. Yeah. So let the folks know, do you have a niche website, or is it strictly on Amazon? I'm not even quite sure where you're at with your business.
Well, right now we are on Amazon, and but we are both building POD stores and learning that avenue to add, so we don't have all our eggs in one basket. With my knee surgery in June, I took off in building a community faster than Sarah was able to. I like making the memes and the content and all of that. Mm-hmm. And so this is what really almost propelled us into really looking at merging this. So I've already got some ideas on what to do with Sarah's store, and we're going to get mine launched, and then we're going to go back and get hers up and kicking. And so we've been experimenting with Facebook ads and things like that, and that. But like I said, we're in the process now of investigating what we have to do to actually merge the businesses under one entity. We both have LLCs, and so there's some legality things that we've got to deal with to figure that out.
insight on that. If nothing else, the direction we're going to go.
Okay.
So you're actually talking about, and POD, by the way, folks, is
It's print on demand. Yeah.
You're talking about, so you'd really merge all your assets together.
Yeah. We're talking about doing the full thing.
That is very impressive. Well, what becomes really clear to me is that you have an enjoyable working relationship. You two thrive together, or if there were friction, you wouldn't be talking about merging your assets like that. And folks, what I mean by assets
We waited
is
3 years, right?
3 years. That's the date.
And that's kind of what, I don't know that I would recommend that from the jump start,
Right,
because you gotta make sure that you're going to be able to work together and that you have this total trust value between and when you're just meeting people, that takes time to build. But we've been doing
when we started, right, we didn't actually even buy products together in the beginning. And then what we started doing was kind of a complex accounting where we could buy and merge in particular ventures so that we could buy in more scale, et cetera, et cetera. It just made it easier for us to really launch on some bigger projects. But that's not where we began. And then and as someone who's been managing most of the accounting for us, it would actually simplify things a lot for me.
Oh, yeah. I hear you on that.
One entity rather than two entities, I think.
I mean, Sarah is the spreadsheet guru. I have learned so much from her on how to do spreadsheets, but thank goodness she's the one handling it, because I would not be able to do what she's come up with to do. But it is a very complex thing.
I can well imagine. And Sarah's going nuts to this.
Yeah. Well, she's actually developed, we actually worked on it together, but we have this awesome, I have a spreadsheet that I take a report out of Celery, which is our repricer. I take a report out of ACE and Inspector. I take a couple of reports out of Amazon, throw them into this spreadsheet, and it crunches my numbers so I can see what I need to order, how fast we're selling it, it's a reorder.
Right.
It's basically our replenishing reorder sheet.
Right.
And it's awesome. It's really, really cool to do, but it was quite some complex Excel programming finesse to make that work. But it's great because I can go in and export those 4 reports, dump them into that spreadsheet. And what used to take me, because I would do the reordering, and it used to take me 8 to 12 hours to manually do this.
Wow.
Brought it down to 1 to 2.
Nice. That's
so it's finding things like that help you be more efficient. And
well, I just want to say I am extremely proud of you too. I love you both dearly. You're both such amazing women. You have that advancing personality that I was talking about. You are not adverse to work. I know that, having watched your progress and then seeing you develop here. I'm so proud of your accomplishments, and I really want to be kept abreast so we can celebrate for your new partnership. It's a big, big deal. Took a lot of work to get there. Just if you could give a little, for folks who are watching this, they're considering e-commerce, or maybe they're already in, why the e-commerce business school? Why come here for your training and mentorship?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sarah. You go first.
Okay. Well, it really comes down to the amount of time, the touch time, I think. For me, what made this truly special was how much access I had to people who had answers and had experience and had ideas, whether it was something they'd done before, whether it was something they wanted to learn or something that they were, just looking to do as a group. There was always people who were at the place I was to join me in that journey. And it made it safer. It made it faster. It made it more clearer, a lot more fun. Overall, I don't think I would have gone so far, or certainly not as fast, but I don't think I would have gone so far if I hadn't had this constant introduction of new ideas and new strategies. And someone always there who's willing to hold my hand, whether it was Anne herself, this woman makes herself accessible. It's incredible what is offered through this program, to, an incredible menu of experts who are part of this community as trainers. And then the students themselves are just great people. She just seems to attract people who are like-minded. So it all is kind of resonating with you as a way to work with people who are, from home. It's you get to be in your own place and do something. This is it. I don't think it gets better.
No, I agree totally with everything Sarah said. And community is huge in this. Not only is the training top notch and always over delivered, you always get a lot more than you can possibly absorb. But the community, whether it's on the Facebook pages, events, I can't emphasize the events enough for helping us move along. The training is top notch. There's no question about that. But the networking that goes on when you're face to face is something that, it's just hard to duplicate any other way.
We didn't miss one for the first couple of years. We did not miss it ever.
We didn't miss one training. We went to everything. We just felt, we both, like I said, we realized that we were both thought the same way. We reinvested everything we made back into product and training. We wanted to have it all there so that we could move as fast as we wanted when we wanted. And so we jumped on everything. And the thing that I found is if you implement what you got to take action. You just have to implement what you learn, and don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. The beauty of the coaches and the whole program is that you can test things in a safe way so that you're not losing your shirt, so that you can learn faster. You're going to learn by making those leaps, and we all make mistakes. We're still making mistakes. That's how, they're really not. They're learning opportunities. They're stepping stones. They're not stumbling blocks. Keeping your head in the right space, staying positive, and that being able to do that is because we're in a community of people that, hey, we've been there. That happens. Stuff like this happens, and it's okay. You just keep going. But don't be afraid to take action. And if you live in a vacuum, like you talked about, when things happen, it's all magnified because it's just you and there's all these issues. You don't know how, you get on the Facebook and say this happened, and all of a sudden you have 10 people say, yeah, that happened to me too, and this is what I did, and this is what I did, and all of a sudden you realize you're not alone, and that gives you the motivation to keep going.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, ladies. It is Thanksgiving Day weekend, so I want to have you get back to your families, especially you there, Sarah, just arriving at your brother's house just in time. That worked out beautifully for us. So again, I'm so proud and very grateful for you too. You have made amazing contribution back into the community from all your hard investment into EBS, the E-commerce Business School, and now it's Advance Your Businesses, but you also then are coaches and trainers here in our community. So God bless. Really, really, really grateful for you too. All righty. Thank you.
Happy holidays.
You too.
Bye-bye, everybody.